guess, Will, how much is it setting in that, your career's wrapping up here? It's the last South Carolina game.
Yeah, I think just it's a surreal moment for me, especially just playing my last home game, and just how everything went down. Playing a good opponent, beating that opponent, and then being able to kind of get carried across the field in my last home game. It was really, really, really special. The fans really came out. That's probably one of the loudest games I've played in at home. And being my last game is really special, but being able to end it on just a great rivalry game, probably one of the best, if not the best in the country. That's also really, really special too, and it's something that I know obviously we take seriously, our coaches and the fans, and really just the whole state does as well. So I know we're really looking forward to that.
So what, with the surfing thing, was that something you wanted to do, or was that spontaneous?
It was a little spontaneous, yeah. We were going, and Trent Howard, it was senior day for him too, and I just picked him up and then just kind of threw him, and then he was kind of doing it, and then he asked me, and he got someone else, and they hoisted my big ass up, and I started doing the same thing. So yeah, it was spontaneous, but it was great.
Well, you guys, obviously, it had been so long since you'd lost to South Carolina. Approximately how many days a year did you hear about that game since last year?
I would say this, not as necessarily us as a program, because obviously it was a tough loss. And right afterwards, it, coaches know it, everyone knows it. But I would say for us, it's really just, 'cause it's just a big game for our fans, for the state, just the whole community. And just whether we win or we lose, you definitely know who won the last one, right? It doesn't matter what record, who won the most in the series or anything. Like, it just all depends on who won that last game. And yeah, definitely, we lost the last one, and that's very well known. They made it known from just how that whole game went down. And that's why we're really just looking forward to this opportunity to kind of set the record straight and do the best we can, and that's try to win a football game.
Do you guys in your locker room or any in the building have any sort of countdown or signage or anything that's there year round like there was in 2014?
To South Carolina?
Yeah.
No, not now. No, we don't. Now, granted, we do have a place for the Palmetto Bowl trophy. We have a little thing on the wall, kind of talking about the history of the game, of the rivalry, and stuff like that. But we don't necessarily have a countdown just for South Carolina. Now, we do have a countdown for just our season. Our countdown of all in commitment that we have that outside of our team meeting room. That's just kind of counting down towards just the end of our season. Now, granted, I guess our season does end on South Carolina, but it's not necessarily representing that, more so that, this is how many days that we have to be all in committed to task at hand throughout the season.
How do you explain how things have come together for this offensive line, the running game, in the last 3 games?
Yeah, I think it really proves how important momentum is. And even now, we still have guys that rotate in and out, like, Trent, like the guards, like Trent's running out there first, Harrison's running out there first, but, guys like Colin Sadler, Mitchell May's coming in, doing a really great job, able to move guys around, mix and match is awesome. And then also it's great for us having just 2 really good backs back there too, because, don't get me wrong, there's some times where they just make us right. And there's some times where we just make a hole so big, it makes them right. So it's really, there's a lot of synergy, and I think that's really, really important. But it's just really good to see us finally come together, that momentum, and we always believe that we can really get the ball moving, we can really run the ball, but it's different from once you do it and you can see it, you get results, and I think that's where we're at right now. Is we believe we can, but we're also getting results, and that just makes everything easier.
I think the rules only allow 2 preseason scrimmages, like full-scale scrimmages. Is there something to the idea that with an offensive line, without as much good on good or whatever scrimmage situations during the preseason, that it could take some time for you to establish the continuity that you were just talking about?
Not necessarily, because I'll say this too. It's when we were in fall camp, our offensive line looked completely different, right? Like we had Marcus Tate, he was playing. Walker Parks again, that's a guy who's sorely missed. We got guys still doing a great job, but Walker Parks is sorely missed on the offensive line. And I think some of those, when he went down after the game, you can kind of see some of those growing pains. When Marcus went down, you can kind of see some of those growing pains. So I don't really think it's necessarily us not getting enough reps, because even when we don't scrimmage, I mean, we're pretty much live every day as an offensive line. I think it was just a lot when it comes to continuity that our offensive line just looked different. Guys who, were vets, who we were really counting on, they got hurt and stuff like that. And that's why it just shows the importance of younger guys having to always know that I'm just one play away. Because you really are, especially in offensive line when it's easy for guys to get hurt and so on. So I think that was the biggest difference.
When you do so much mixing and matching, does it make it a little more difficult for 5 guys to gel up front?
Not necessarily. I think it's just as long as you practice it, right? Like, I mean, if it's just the middle of the game and guys are playing that they've, didn't practice, so it can be a little bit more difficult. But I mean, we practice with a bunch of guys going in and out, and I mean, we're in the same meetings. I mean, we're running the same plays. Timing can be a little bit different, but that's why you practice. So usually once we hit game day, that's not necessarily as much of a deal. It's just goes back to the number one thing is, are you doing your job and can you do it at a high level? As long as if people can do that, then it doesn't really matter too much.
Will, what can you say about the way Cade has improved over the last 3 games, and how much does that have to do with the way the offensive line is kind of gelled too?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really settled in too. I mean, really just the whole team, and I think like he's a great example of that. Just kind of has our whole offense, like starting at Notre Dame, coming through, has really just settled in and started playing really consistent football. And I think that's great for him. I think we get the running game going a little bit between the offensive line, the running backs, and kind of ease some pressure with him as well. So maybe at first we weren't really getting the running game going as much as we wanted to, and that puts a lot of pressure on him because it makes it a little bit easier on defenses to defend against us. So I think us getting that going has helped him out a little bit. I think for him, just settling in and being the guy he can be. I mean, we've all seen him make incredible plays. And as long as he just keeps on doing that, which he is, we'll be in a really good spot. And I think Clemson football will be having a really bright future.
First time you ever went to Williams Brice in Columbia, what did the older players tell you about the environment? Keep your helmet on. What
Keep your helmet on, and that's something that has stuck with me ever since. So if any game at the end of the game, win or lose, I always keep my helmet running off the field. Yeah, they got their net, and people are still throwing stuff. Trying to get it through it. I like it. I think it's a great environment. It's probably the best road environment, I think, that I've played in. Always loud. People are always there. People are always really nice, greet me on the bus ride over. But yeah, it's awesome. And I think that's what makes college football so special, and just those rivalries and stuff like that. People being really passionate about that stuff. So it's always exciting.
Their student section is always packed out. They've got the white tiles. Play sandstorm. Is that fun to play when it's all against you like that?
Oh,
and
yeah,
they're loud
awesome.
like that?
It's awesome. I mean, I think as a player, I mean, they're both awesome, but I really enjoy when people are booing you really loud. I think that's really fun too. I mean, I think that's just as fun as when people are cheering you on just as much. I love the boos. I think it's awesome. It kind of gets me going a little bit. Just in sandstorm, playing that practice all week. It's just that week. It's awesome. It's what makes everything fun.
You have a favorite memory from that game a couple of years ago?
Yeah. I mean, not a big one, but just the 2021 that game. Because for me, I mean, that whole year, my ankle was bothering me, and I had a bad fever, and I was sick. My ankle hurt, but I played through that game, getting a really big victory, and it was just awesome to be a part of that. It was great, and it was also another night game. I got a picture somewhere just holding that trophy with a couple of other guys after all that stuff we've been through, all the stuff I've been through. It was like, man, this is great, and that was another season too where we fell short of the ACC championship, and everyone was like, man, Clemson's done, they suck, all this stuff, and kind of being able to get that, and kind of think really brought in perspective about everything. So that's what we're looking forward to do again this year.
Is there anything that you remember particular about last game that kind of sticks with you, or have you kind of just flushed it completely?
Which one?
The South Carolina.
South Carolina game. I mean, yeah, just being so close and losing. I mean, right? Like being so close. I mean, we had multiple opportunities to win the football game, and you know we just didn't execute it. And on those certain plays where we needed it, they got it, right? So I think it's definitely something that you flush it, but you don't forget it. And I think that's really, really important to do. Is you got to move on. You can't let it live in your head, but you can't forget it. Like, oh, I remember all of that. I remember my neighbors playing Sandstorm till like 3 a.m. So yeah, I definitely don't forget it. But I think moving on and how we're doing right now, I feel really confident. You know, we're playing good football on offense.
Any questions for Will virtually? Anybody in the room?
Where do you live? Or where? You're off campus, I guess?
Yeah, I'm off campus.
So you had a neighbor that's apparently...
Yeah. I live kind of over towards Central, yeah. So yeah, all that. It's just like, man, like I want to go knock on the door and be like, hey man, turn up. But it's like, you know what? Should have got down on the field. So I gotta sit here and just listen to it. That's how I look at it. Multiple, yeah, it was going crazy. So it's like, you know, we did get down the field, so have at it. But you know, next year, you know, hopefully get the job done, and I don't want to hear any of that. So it was good though.
This is just actually the first time I've had you since the shoe explosion. What do you remember from that, and how did that?
Oh yeah, I remember going over and then planting my foot, and then my foot just started sliding really bad, and I thought for a second that I broke my ankle. So for a second there, I was kind of worried because then I can't like walk straight. Usually in games, when I get hurt or something, I don't really feel it right away because I'm just so amped up. But I'm starting to like hobble around, like, oh man, on my ankle again. Like I can't be having this towards the end of the season. And just the bottom of my shoe just peeled right off. And shout out our equipment staff, Nick Yaird, and our trainers, Dylan, Barron, because it was like a NASCAR pit stop over there on the sideline. Like they had a chair, they already had the cleats, and they're both like tying me because my hands and thumbs are all taped up. And they're putting on my shoes for me, and I was out there in like another three plays, total pit stop, and it was like NASCAR. It was awesome. And then I came back because those shoes were like 2 sizes too big or whatever. And I just I we're gonna play it, and then came back, another pit stop, back on the field. It was pretty special. I wish there was film on that because that's how you change out a shoe.
How many pieces of the shoe were there?
I mean, it was like 2 pieces. It was like the shoe and then just the bottom, and then you could just see my sock. Yeah, it was great.
Just one other random question. If you were in a 40-yard dash with Nate Wiggins, how many yards ahead would you have to be to win?
I mean, realistically, I'm not the fastest guy. I would probably need to be at maybe the 20. Yeah, maybe the 20. If I'm really maybe feeling fast, maybe the 15. But yeah, I'm already not the fastest guy around, and he happens to be the fastest guy around. So yeah, I need a little head start.
Is he the fastest guy on the team?
I don't know who's the fastest, who isn't, but so far he's the fastest guy I think that's ever ran in the game. So that's what counts. I mean, at the end of the day, that play, he's the fastest guy in my mind. So that was an incredible play, and that's not the first time he's done that either. So I think that proves to show it's one thing being fast. You know, we're running sprints and working out. And it's another thing to be fast doing that and translate to the football field and football pads. And I'm pretty sure he ran like over 22 miles an hour or something. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So.
Do you feel as though the practices in preparation for this game are any harder than any other week?
No, not really. I mean, it really is just, when it comes to the practice aspect, it really is just another week. Now, opponent-wise and all the stuff outside of the facility, it's obviously different because, again, it's big for the community, just the state, because everyone, Clemson, South Carolina. But for us, it's practice, not really. I mean, this is what, week 11, week 12. It really is just you play your game, you rinse and you repeat. Like, I have the same routine on Mondays, same routine on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on. And that's how you have to approach it, really. Like, if you want to have a successful season, that's how you have to do it. But I guess the only difference is just who we're playing, being our in-state rival. But when it comes to preparation, I mean, it's all really the same each week.
Anybody else? All right, appreciate you, bud.
Yeah, no problem.